Tell me about the farmhouse, because there used to be a lovely old farmhouse down there. Tell me the story of that.
It was a beautiful old house with a nice walled-in garden, because it was down the bottom, and all the watching through the yard, you get the water coming down. But some of the walls were cob. It was built in two sections. There was a central walkway through, really, where the two sections were. But you had trouble with rats and everything in there. And when Father was on, it was either spend a lot of money on doing that one up, and the kingdoms, the builders, he said they wouldn't give estimate for doing that one up, because it would cost more than building a new house. I mean, just big rooms, because there was 3 big rooms downstairs.
2.
There's probably, 50 foot long. Thatch roof, and that used to take a lot of keeping up, you see. You'd have to thatch it every 15, 20 years. I know you could grow wheat on the farm. That was a big job.
I mean, I did go into the house, and Arthur showed me what it was like before, after we were married, and it was really interesting to see. I can remember there being an old settle, wasn't there, by the fireplace in the kitchen, and there was a lovely room with a beautiful, what do you call it, all the plasterwork, plasterwork all around the ceiling. And then you go upstairs. It was very similar, I think, to Spittal. And and the bedrooms, I think you just went from one bedroom to the next. I don't think there was a passageway or anything. I just think that each bedroom led into the next bedroom.
One of the cob walls was started, you could look out through, our bedroom was. You could look out through a crack, just a crack, you could just look out through there. So just get in bed. And Father tried to build a new house.
So how old was that old building?
What, the original house?
Original one,
Well, it was an old Devon longhouse, so I presume. I mean, it must have been, I don't know, hundreds of years old.
The building set in two sections, and you could see it really. There was like just a kitchen and a bedroom above. And then the rest of it was built on afterward.
So it would have been several hundred years old.
Oh goodness, yes, yeah, absolutely.
Because they'd been thatched as well.
And then you could see, the old layout of how what the farm was like when it was, an old sort of yard, wasn't it, with the old shippings around, and then there was some old sort of pigsties and a roundhouse where they used to do the apples, wasn't it, for the cider.
There was a nice walled-in garden right around it, because it was what used to be, years ago, before our time, it used to be a stable for horses. They could go down a path and right into where their horses were. But that when we were there, it was a shipping. And that's where we used to milk the cows there.
The old house was demolished, and it actually is underneath the farmyard that's down there now, which raised the farmyard up quite a lot, didn't it? And after it had been demolished, we had a letter to say that it was listed, but by that time it was underneath the farmyard.
Then we decided to build this one here, just after we got married.
This was built in 1969, and I think that was a consequence of my father-in-law thinking I was worth having a house after Richard had been born. So then, but at that time we were told, weren't we, that by the builder, it was Kingdon's Builders from South Malton, and they said that it would cost the same to build a new house or to renovate the old house down the yard. And whether it was I don't know if it's the right decision. It probably wasn't the right decision, but we decided to have the new house.
So did the listings people say anything when they found out the house had gone?
We never heard anything else afterwards. Didn't hear of anyone coming to inspect or anything, but if they had, there wouldn't have been anything there for them to look at, unfortunately.
If they told you before, you wouldn't have been allowed to demolish it.
Oh,
Well, no, that's right.
So do you regret the fact that that house is no longer there?
Now, very much so, yes. But
You
and
do,
also
but I
some
don't.
of the old
I
farm.
don't.
Why not?
Because everything was down in the dip. Imagine how steep it was coming up over. You went as frosty.
Well,
The
something
water used to run down, freeze.
should have been able to be done about that, I should have thought.
Well, the only way I ever thought that you could have done anything was put a fresh road in to come into
Yeah.
that, to come
Oh,
into
yeah.
the house.